and I don't want to do that. So definitely make sure to be on time for that.
Okay.
I understand that it is my responsibility to show up on my appointments on time. If I'm more than 15 minutes late, my appointment may be rescheduled. I'm understanding. Just stay in communication with me. If something comes up, let me know. We can talk about it. I understand it's my responsibility to show up for my appointments on time, and that if I'm more than 15 minutes late, my appointment... Oh wait, I already read that one. I understand that my records and all of our communications become part of the clinical record. Records are the property of Mosaic Family Services. Adult client records are disposed of 7 years after the client has stopped receiving services. Child client records are disposed of 7 years after the client's 18th birthday. I know that's a strange thing to put there, but that's another confidentiality thing. Say you go to a different counselor, I end up referring you to someone else. There's a 7-year period, so for 7 years I have access to your records. If somebody asks for your records from me, I have your stuff for 7 years. So that's how long I'll be able to hand that over to them for.
Okay.
And Mosaic Family Services do not discriminate on the basis of race, gender, religion, national origin, disability, or sexual orientation. If significant differences such as culture or belief system exist between us, I will work to understand these differences. So that's our basic lay of the foundation of our rules here at Mosaic Family Services. Do you have any questions so far about that? I know that's a little bit of boring legal jargon there.
No, I understand everything pretty alright.
Okay. So that's that. And then while everything stays, pretty much confidential here, the part down here is really important. Everything that we talk about in our sessions is going to stay between us, but there are a few exceptions. So if you look down here, while our communication is confidential, there are circumstances when disclosure can occur without my prior consent. So the following are typical but not exhaustive examples of situations and circumstances under which information may be disclosed without prior consent. So these are the times when I can technically report what you've told me for the betterment of a greater good, either to society, the legal system, another person, etc., etc. So if I determine that you're a danger to someone else or to yourself, I have to report that and get you, intensive inpatient services that way. If I suspect child abuse, elder abuse, or abuse of a disabled person, it is my legal duty to notify medical, legal, or other authorities. That means anybody that basically cannot speak for themselves. So, for example, if your little... Do you have any siblings?
I do have a younger brother.
If your little brother was being abused and you told me about it, then I would have to report that to the authorities.
Oh, okay.
Situations like that.
Okay.
If you disclose sexual contact with another mental health professional, for example, if you were with a counselor and they did something to you that was inappropriate, I would have to say something about that, because that's absolutely unacceptable. We cannot allow that with our mental health professionals. Let's see. And then you can go ahead and initial those.
Okay.
What does the rest of your family look like?
I have a stepmom.
Stepmom?
Uh-huh.
You close?
I mean, about as close as we can. I feel like there are a couple gaps to where I don't really understand her, but I think that's just because she's a little newer to the family. They only recently got married like a few years back, and I don't really live with them so much anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so the other situations is if I'm ordered by court to disclose information, obviously I would have to disclose the information. For example, if you were in like a murder trial or such of the like, where I had to, if a lawyer was telling me I had to give up your information, I would have to do that.
Okay.
If you were to give in writing a release for your records, I could release the information that way for a different counselor or something like that. And then otherwise required by law to disclose the information, then I would be able to do it that way.
Okay.
So then that's that page. That's all the legal stuff. And then that underneath that is the mental health or the mental status information. That is the questions. So real quick, I know this is really vulnerable information to ask of a stranger, but we have to ask in case anybody needs more serious, urgent medical care. Are you currently thinking about suicide or harming yourself in any way?
No.
No? Have you had any thoughts, even once in the past, including the past few days or weeks, of suicide or harming yourself in any way?
Not really, no.
Okay. And are you having any thoughts about harming anyone else in any way?
No.
Okay. So that's just to make sure on that. And then under that is the statement of understanding. Just to understand that I read that limits of confidentiality. Did you have any questions about those?
Not really.
It's pretty
straightforward.
Yeah. And then the health provider's statement is going to be for me, so you don't have to sign that. And you don't have a translator, so you don't have to worry about that one.
Okay.
And then the last page is going to be my favorite one, because we get to talk about what goals you have. Let's see here. I know you talked about your work is a little bit frustrating and tiresome on you right now. But I want to try to reframe the question for you here, since it's asking you to repeat the question basically. How can we reframe it and perhaps say how can we grow in yourself perhaps together during this therapeutic relationship? What can we grow to help you potentially enjoy work more?
Maybe working on how I might be able to communicate my frustrations a little better, maybe.
Okay, so maybe being able to grow in communication.
I think that might help with my relationships with the other managers.
Growing your support system.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And let me ask you, have you ever been with a mental health professional or had therapy before?
No.
Never?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Have you ever, had a friend or anyone who's had it?
My dad did when my biological mom died.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
What are your thoughts about it? Do you feel comfortable with it?
This is a little new for me, so actually talking with somebody about my feelings is different.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I'm definitely willing to give it a try and see if it helps. I'm definitely open to it.
Okay. And are there any pressing physical symptoms that you're feeling right now that I should be aware of? Or, I guess, mental symptoms either, like headaches, chest pain, anxiety, depression,
You're referring to all the things on this checklist, right?
yeah.
Okay. The always tired is definitely one of them.
Okay, so always tired. And is that recently or has that always been?
It's never been this intense.
Mm-hmm.
Before my promotion, I could at least handle it and, work with it a little bit. I was a little tired, but nothing to where, like, I go to bed, and then I wake up and I'm still just exhausted, like I am now.
Okay.
It's here.
Just about done?
Yep.
Or did you have a question?
I'm taking a look at everything. Give me just a sec. Okay. I think I got everything.
You got everything?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I am looking forward to working with you. Did you have any other questions with me at all about any of the things we covered today?
No, I think everything was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got some basic information on you. That's what this intake interview is about. I'll go over your file before our first session, and our first session is mainly going to be about establishing more. I'd like to hear more about your basically what a day at your job's like, and where that source of that tiredness is. Maybe we can talk about some tactics on boosting that energy, and maybe figuring out a way to communicate with some of your coworkers or managers.
Sounds good.
All right, and we'll go ahead and talk to our front desk people about that sliding scale paperwork as well.
Okay.
I'll
Awesome.
take that paperwork from you here.
I'll just give you the cap back too.
Yes. Thank you very much. And it was nice meeting you, Tyson.
It was nice meeting you as well. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Looking forward to working with you. All right.